This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. A 57-year-old Massachusetts man has died after being pulled from the water at Trunk Bay. On Sunday at around 12:30 in the afternoon, police responded to Trunk Bay for a possible drowning. Emergency medical crews tried to resuscitate the victim on the way back to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead. The victim's identified as 57-year-old Chris Finn, who was visiting from Massachusetts. His son told police he saw his father starting to struggle to swim while snorkeling near the small island off Trunk Bay. His son and others in the water tried to help him ashore on a longboard before emergency crews did eventually arrive. On St. Croix, heads up for drivers this weekend. VIPD has a traffic advisory for you for the 2022 Beauty and the Beast Triathlon. On Sunday, November 27th, the St. Croix event triathlon will take place from 7 o'clock in the morning, starting with the swimming portion at Cramers Park Beach, and will finish between 10 o'clock in the morning and noon. Virgin Islands police are asking motorists to drive carefully in the areas during the triathlon. The cycling segment will happen on East End Road, South Shore Road, and Sally's Fancy Way. The running segment will use a part of East End Road to Point Udall, and at the end of Cramers Park is where it will end at Cramers Park. All roads and intersections are going to be controlled by VIPD personnel and may be closed and opened as needed to ensure the safety of all those event participants. VI Governor Albert Bryan Jr. has granted holiday administrative leave this week to non-essential government employees. The governor has granted administrative leave to non-essential government employees on Friday, November 25th, for a day of Thanksgiving reflection.
On behalf of Governor Bryan and Lieutenant Governor Roach, I wish you all a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving weekend. I also encourage you to take the time on Thursday to give back in any way that you can. We all have a lot to be thankful for, and so if you are in a position to show your gratitude for all that you are grateful for, I encourage you to share that gratitude for a worthy cause this Thanksgiving.
Administrative leave is also being granted to non-essential government employees on Monday, December 26th, also known as Boxing Day, which is already a holiday according to VI code, and on Monday, January 2nd, 2023, for the New Year's Day holiday, which falls on a Sunday. Royal Caribbean says its fifth ship in its Oasis class will now call Port Canaveral, Florida home for at least the next 2 years. Weighing more than 230,000 tons with a total capacity of nearly 7,000 passengers, Wonder of the Seas currently is the world's largest cruise ship. It is now making its way to St. Thomas, a cruise in all that's spending 7 nights across the Caribbean.
As it leaves the port, a close-up shot will show you just how huge the Wonder of the Seas is. This is just its second departure from Port Canaveral, and we're talking to some of those excited guests on board Royal Caribbean's record breaker.
Brand new ship, very large.
Weighing more than 230,000 tons, with a total capacity of nearly 7,000 passengers, Wonder of the Seas is currently the world's largest cruise ship. After previously sailing this year out of Fort Lauderdale in Europe, now Royal Caribbean says its fifth ship in its Oasis class will call Port Canaveral home for at least the next 2 years.
Please come join us on our beautiful Wonder of the Seas.
Joanne Cotterman with the cruise line now says all guests are welcome, a big change from when cruising restarted a year ago during the pandemic.
We will take guests whether they're vaccinated or not vaccinated, and we've actually just eliminated the testing requirements as well for all guests, no matter what their vaccine status is.
By eliminating COVID-19 rules, Cotterman says Royal Caribbean is boosting ticket sales.
I think that the industry is doing a lot to keep everybody safe and secure, and it should be good.
And hopefully they'll have better weather out at sea. After 7 nights across the Caribbean, Wonder of the Seas is scheduled to return to Port Canaveral next Sunday morning and depart on another trip next Sunday afternoon.
The beauty of a ship, indeed. Wonder of the Seas arrives in St. Thomas on Wednesday. Also on the schedule, a stop in the Bahamas and St. Martin. The Tobago tourism industry is set to receive a further boost in economic activity for the rest of the year as cruise ship visitors return to the island on Sunday. The island's cruise ship season began with the maiden voyage of Silver Moon, bringing in just more than 1,000 visitors on Monday. Rhapsody of the Sea also made its maiden call with over 2,000 visitors. Port officials anticipate a bumper cruise ship season for the 2022-23 season after the pandemic caused a closure of the industry for 2 years in Tobago. The terminal building was a hub of activities as taxi drivers, tour guides, tour operators, and tourism officials interacted with the passengers. A total of 42 vessels with roughly 64,000 passengers are expected to call at Scarborough and the Charlottesville area during the cruise ship season, which runs from November 2022 to April 2023. Secretary for Tourism in Tobago, Tasha Burris, expressed excitement for the return of cruise arrivals in Tobago.
I am just happy to see that we're finally fully open. I mean, it's one thing to begin to welcome airlift passengers, which we started doing in January, but this is the first time we've been able to welcome international passengers via sea. And I mean, I'm just excited for the possibilities of us growing the sector once again and attracting more vessels of this size, certainly.
And of course, in St. Croix, we're going to see a big increase in cruise numbers this season, too. And as we begin a new week, or we hit midweek, COVID-19 case counts remain steady. According to the VI Department of Health, there are currently 31 active COVID cases territory-wide, with 17 on St. Croix, 13 active cases on St. Thomas, and still just one active case on St. John.